You probably know the drill with cryptocurrency exchanges. Sign up with your email, come up with a strong password, verify your account, and start trading cryptocurrency. Decentralized exchanges are like that, minus the hassle of sign-ups. In most cases, there's no depositing or withdrawing crypto. The trade happens directly between two users' wallets, with limited, if any, input from a third party. Decentralized exchanges can be a bit trickier to get the hang of, and they might not always have the assets you want. But as the tech and interest in it grow, these may very well become integral components in the cryptocurrency sphere. From the early days of Bitcoin, exchanges have played a vital role in matching cryptocurrency buyers with sellers. Without these forums attracting a global user base, we'd have much poorer liquidity and no way to agree on the correct price of assets. Traditionally, centralized players have dominated this field. However, with the rapidly evolving stack of technologies available, a growing number of tools for decentralized trades have emerged. In this article, we'll take a dive into decentralized exchanges, DEXs, trading venues where no intermediaries are required. In theory, any peer-to-peer swapping could constitute a decentralized trade. The key difference is that their backend exists on a blockchain. No one takes custody of your funds, and you don't need to trust the exchange to the extent that you do with centralized offerings, if at all. With your typical centralized exchange, you deposit your money either fiat via bank transfer or credit debit card or cryptocurrency. When you deposit crypto, you give up control of it. Not from a usability standpoint, as you can still trade it or withdraw it, but from a technical standpoint. You cannot spend it on the blockchain. You don't own the private keys to the funds, which means that when you withdraw, you ask the exchange to sign a transaction on your behalf. When you're trading, transactions don't occur on-chain. Instead, the exchange allocates balances to users in its own database. The general workflow is incredibly streamlined because the slow speeds of blockchains don't impede trading, and everything occurs in a single entity system. The general workflow is incredibly streamlined because the slow speeds of blockchains don't impede trading, and everything occurs in a single entity system. This does come at the cost of independence. You need to trust the exchange with your money. As a result, you expose yourself to some counterparty risk. What if the team runs off with your hard-earned BTC? What if a hacker cripples the system and drains the funds? For many users, this is an acceptable level of risk. They simply stick to reputable exchanges with strong track records and precautions that mitigate data breaches. DEXs are similar to their centralized counterparts in some ways, but significantly different in others. Let's first note that there are a few different types of decentralized exchanges available to users. The common theme among them is that orders are executed on-chain with smart contracts and that users do not sacrifice custody of their funds at any point. On-chain order books. Some work has been done on cross-chain DEXs, but the most popular ones revolve around assets on a single blockchain such as Ethereum or Binance Chain. In some decentralized exchanges, everything is done on-chain. We'll talk about hybridized approaches shortly. Every order as well as alteration and cancellation is written to the blockchain. This is arguably the most transparent approach, as you're not trusting a third party to relay the orders to you, and there's no way to obfuscate them. Since you're asking every node on the network to record the order forever, you end up paying a fee. You need to wait until a miner adds your message to the blockchain, meaning the experience can be cumbersome too. Front-running occurs in markets when an insider is aware of a pending transaction and uses that information to place a trade before the transaction is processed. The front-runner, therefore, benefits from information not known to the public. Generally speaking, this is illegal. Of course, if everything is published on a global ledger, there's no opportunity to front-run in the traditional sense. That said, a different kind of attack can be deployed. One where a miner sees the order before it's confirmed and ensures that their own order gets added to the blockchain first. Off-chain order books. Off-chain order book DEXs are still decentralized in some regards, but they are admittedly more centralized than the previous entry. Instead of every order being posted to the blockchain, they're hosted somewhere. Where? That depends. You could have a centralized entity completely in charge of the order book. If that entity is malicious, then they could game the markets to an extent. However, you would still benefit from non-custodial storage. The 0x protocol for 20 Emirates dirhams and other tokens deployed on the Ethereum blockchain is a good example of this. These approaches are superior from a usability perspective than those that rely on chain order books. They don't face the same constraints in terms of speed, as they don't use the blockchain as much. Still, the trade must be settled on it. So the off-chain order book model is still inferior to centralized exchanges in terms of speed. Implementations of off-chain order books include Binance DEX, DEX, and EtherDelta. Pros and cons of DEXs. We've touched on some of the advantages and drawbacks of DEXs in broad strokes in the previous sections. Let's delve into them a bit more. Pros of DEXs. No KYC, KYC-AML Know Your Customer, and anti-money laundering compliance is the norm for many exchanges. For regulatory reasons, individuals must often submit identity documentation and proof of address. This is a privacy concern for some and an accessibility concern for others. What if you don't have valid documents on hand? What if the information is somehow leaked? Since DEXs are permissionless, no one checks your identity. All you need is a cryptocurrency wallet. However, there are some legal requirements when DEXs are partially run by a central authority. In some cases, if the order book is centralized, the host must remain compliant. No counterparty risk. The primary appeal of decentralized cryptocurrency exchanges is that they don't hold customers' funds. As such, even catastrophic breaches like the 2014 Mt. Gox hack won't put users' funds at risk or expose any sensitive personal information. Fees aren't always higher on DEXs, but they can be, particularly when the network is congested or if you're using an on-chain order book. Many decentralized exchanges have emerged over the years, each iterating on previous attempts to streamline the user experience and build more powerful trading venues. Ultimately, the idea seems heavily aligned with the ethos of self-sovereignty. As with cryptocurrencies, users don't need to trust a third party.